Hello everybody, how are you today? I'm Jamie and I'm so happy to be on here again with you all today, and I'm really excited about what it is that we're going to talk about as well and practice. It's something called meditation, but you can call it mindful stillness, you can call it mindfulness, you can do it seated, you can do it walking, you can do it while doing your arts, while reading a book. But today, the type of meditation that we're going to practice is a seated meditation. And oftentimes in the old way of yoga, and also the current way of yoga, but when yoga was born, one of the reasons that people moved their bodies in these poses, and for us in these imaginative ways that we do, was so that their bodies could get all of their big wiggles out to be able to then sit in stillness and really learn to concentrate their minds and their breaths and their bodies. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to do some of our imaginative movements, our yoga poses, and then we're going to practice meditation for a little bit of time. So these poses are going to make our bodies really strong, and this meditation is going to make our minds really strong. And that feels like a very nice combination, doesn't it? So let's go ahead and get started by bringing our hands to our hearts. We're going to take our 3 big yoga breaths. So please follow along as we inhale our hands up and down. 2 more like that. Last big one. Take a big breath up. Very nice. And we're going to take one hand down, plop, and reach one hand up and over. And really reach through your fingertips and really push through your hip. And you should feel a nice stretch on your side body. Look up towards the sky and breathe. And that hand comes down. Bring your other hand up and over. Stretch through your fingers. Reach through your hip and look towards the sky and breathe. And your hand comes down. Very nice. So let's go ahead now and come onto our hands and our knees, and we're going to just start to move our bodies a little bit and get some of those big wiggles out. We're going to do about 3 or 4 yoga poses, and then we're going to come into our meditation. So everybody come onto your hands and your knees into what is called cat and cow. So what do you think we're going to imagine to be right now? You're right, cats and cows. So notice my hands are underneath my shoulders and my hips are my knees are underneath my hips. And I round my back up, cat pose. You can even say meow. And then look towards the sky. This one is cow pose. And say moo. And round your back up. We're going to add our mindfulness into this now. So really noticing what your body feels like. Noticing your hands on the ground. Noticing the temperature in the room. Noticing things that are happening right now and only right now. And then opening up through your heart in your cow pose. Again, notice the way that this feels in your back. It's a new moment, a new pose, a new sensation. And then come into your flat back, which we call tabletop pose. We're going to reach our hands out, pop your tail in the air, downward facing dog to get a couple more of our big wiggles out before we come into our meditation. 2 more breaths here in your downward dog. 1 more big one. And then everybody, walk your feet towards your hands. And then very slowly come back to seated. And if you feel like you have some more big wiggles that you need to get out before you get into this meditation, you could pause this video right now and do some jumping jacks, or do a few of those sun salutations, or stay in your downward facing dog. Do whatever you need to do to get your big wiggles out, because now it is the time that we're setting the intention for stillness. And friends, this is something that we all can do, is find stillness. So first, what I'm going to ask you to do is wiggle your body a little bit and just notice that your body is doing what you're asking it to do. So wiggle your fingers and then say, be still fingers, and watch what they do. They're still. They listened. And now maybe let your feet wiggle. Be still, feet. And put them back in crisscross. And now what we're going to do is begin to let that same level of stillness move through our bodies. So sand timers. So when you flip a sand timer over and all of that sand is at the top of that timer, that's kind of what happens when we're in our thinking brains, always in our thinking brains. So we're up there and all the sand, but the longer that sand timer sits, what happens? That sand floats down to the top. Gravity brings that energy and that sand down to the bottom. And that's sort of the sensation that we're going to have right now in our mindful stillness and in our meditation. So please close your eyes. And I want you to start with your attention at the crown of your head, just like a sand timer. And notice what that brain is doing. It's thinking many thoughts. That's its job. Thank you, brain. And then relax your face, your voice, your shoulders, imagining that sand again, just settling down the body. The arms settle, the chest, the tummy, the back, the hips, the legs, the knees, the feet. All just settles, just like that sand timer. And really let yourself get heavy at your knees and your legs. And I want for you now to set the intention of stillness. And for some of our friends that this is a brand new exercise or a brand new activity, let's set the intention of real stillness, no wiggling, for 5 seconds. Are you ready? So get your last little wiggle out if you need to. Take your breath in. And exhale, and find your stillness for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice, keeping your eyes closed. Now I want for us to observe what our brain is doing. And I want for us to concentrate on the thoughts that we're thinking, which is interesting. But I want you to imagine that in your mind, you've got a piece of paper and a marker. And I want you to wait for the next thought that comes into your brain. And I want you to imagine that you're writing it on that paper and then set that paper down, grab a new one, and wait for the next thought to come. Write that thought, set it down, and get your new paper and wait. And we're going to sit here for a couple of minutes in our meditation, waiting for those thoughts to come in, to write down, set them down, and get a new paper. And notice the space between those thoughts as you're waiting for the next thought to come. That's our calm. That's our source. So closing the eyes, if they've opened again, take a breath. Get your imaginary paper out in your mind and your pen. And begin. If you're in a long thought right now, bring it back. Write it down, set it down, get your next paper. And now, friends, write down that last thought, whatever it was, set it down. And with eyes staying closed, I want you to now really come into your body and be very mindful and observe any sensations that you're feeling right now in your body. Your feelings in your body are now your anchor. So if your mind starts to wander on a thought, bring it back to a feeling in your body. Maybe your feet on the ground, maybe your hands on your knees, maybe the temperature in the air. So as soon as you notice a thought, come back into your body and notice the sensation. And we're going to practice this one for a few moments as well. So take your breath and begin. And now bring all of your meditative concentration to your heart, the front of your heart, the back of your heart, the sides, the top and the bottom. And I want you to imagine now that that heart is growing, full with gratitude. Feel it in your chest, your back. Feel it in your throat, in your voice, down into your stomach. And imagine this light growing bigger and bigger and bigger from your body. Imagine the color, the feeling. And grow it as far as you can. And as soon as you reach that distance of your heart energy, stop and stay and meditate on the feeling of an expanding heart. So we're about ready to set the intention to open the eyes, but don't do that yet. Keep them closed. And on the count of 3, when I get to 3, I want you to very slowly and mindfully flutter your eyes open. And I want you to observe the feeling of sight. 1, 2, 3. Gently begin to open the eyes. Let the light come in. Let the colors come in. And connect in with that reaching heart energy and gratitude for this moment. So I want you to notice now the way that your body feels and the way that your mind feels. After just a few moments of practicing presence, which is all that meditation is, in a nutshell, to me, it's a practice of what is happening right now in our physical body, in our mental body, and in our emotional body, and just allowing it. But we have to notice it, right? So that's the key, is to practice the presence, the right now, notice what's happening, and then use these special brains of ours to make the next right choice. So just a couple of minutes of meditation every day lets you check in to see how your body is feeling, your physical, your strong body, your growing pains, you're maybe tired, you maybe have a lot of energy, noticing. It also lets you watch what this brain is doing and the thoughts that you're thinking. Because this brain thinks many thoughts in a day, right? And we talked about in the beginning that, thank you, brain. This is that brain's job, is to think the thoughts. So we don't want to stop the thoughts. We just want to make sure that our thoughts are helpful for us in our life and then the collective life around us. And then we check in with the way that we're feeling in our hearts, our emotional body. And when we're able to connect in with all of those physical, mental, and emotional bodies, what a beautiful day we are going to have, and what lovely choices that we're going to make for ourselves and the people around us. So, all we need to do is wiggle a little bit, move our bodies a little bit, come into our seat. Remember to let that sand settle like a sand timer from your head down, 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 down. And then focus on your breath. Focus on the feelings in the room. Focus on something. Concentrate on something so that you are able to notice when your mind wanders, and then bring it back. And then it'll wander again because that's its job. And then we bring it back. And then it'll wander again, and we bring it back. But every time we wander, if we can bring out that imaginary Post-it note and put that little thought on the paper and set it down, we begin to realize the thoughts that we think a lot in the day. And that's where we can make the big changes in our life, is when we notice what it is that we're thinking, and then we make sure that those thoughts are working in our favor. So, I love you all. Meditation does not have to be 1,000,000 hours. It sure can be. That's my goal. Wouldn't that be amazing? But where it starts is just, especially with the children, it starts at about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and then make your way up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and beyond. So have a wonderful day. If you are feeling grounded and rooted right now, just stay and practice a little bit more meditation. And this is one of the most important things that you can bring into your life. So I hope that you do, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Here's to meditating with those fabulous children. Bye, friends.